Noor was a broke loser who had a useless skill that gave him constant migraines. After losing his job, he discovered a secret dungeon where he acquired a cheat skill which made him overpowered. However, he had to be constantly pleasured to level up his abilities. On the first day of his job as a librarian, Noor discovered he'd been fired because the son of a viscount wanted the job, and since he was only the son of a poor baronet, kicked his ass out. His father felt responsible and kept trying to apologize, but Noor, who obviously didn't respect his father enough, asked him to stop after disguising his insults as praises. Alice, his sister, came down the stairs just then and suggested that he enrolled in the Hero Academy. Noor didn't think he'd be able to pass the exams, and Alice told him that if he failed, she'd take care of him. He went into town and met up with his friend Emma Brightness, who was supposed to start work at the library with him. Emma was the daughter of a baron, which meant she had more standing in the society than Noor, but she didn't seem to care as they had been friends since childhood. After he told her what had happened, he thought Emma was disappointed, but she told him that she had information concerning his skill. Noor's one and only skill, the Great Sage, could give an answer to any question, but the price for using it was a head-splitting headache. Emma told him she'd read an ancient text on an old sage that kissed his wives whenever he had headaches because it helped, and asked Noor if he wanted to give it a try. The never-been-kissed virgin wasted no time in agreeing, but Emma stopped him and asked to go somewhere more private instead. At the top of a tower where they stood, Noor kissed her. Emma asked him to use his skill, so he asked the Great Sage how he could become stronger and pass the Hero Academy exams, and the sage informed him of a hidden dungeon in a cave and told him how to enter it. Immediately, he had a headache, and Emma suggested they kissed again. After the kids, she asked if his head still hurt, and he said no, but from the way he kissed her it looked like his other head was the one hurting. Noor borrowed a sword from his father and headed to the cave the sage had told him about. He recited the spell which opened the door to the hidden dungeon, and he walked it. Inside, he heard a voice that directed him to a room on the second floor, and when he walked in, he saw a young woman who looked like a cheap knockoff of Princess Bibi of Arabasta. She stood unmoving in the middle of the room, with her hands and feet bound by chains. Noor asked if she was alive, and she told him to touch her head. When he did, she introduced herself as Olivia's servant, an adventurer who had found the hidden dungeon a long time ago. She told him that she had fought and defeated a monster, but had accidentally set off a trap, which bound her in chains. She also revealed that she had been tied up for 200 years in that room. Noor wanted to free her, but she said that the chains were known as death chains, and that if he tried to take them off, she'd die. He then asked why she had called out to him if she couldn't be rescued, and she said just wanted someone to talk to. She assumed he was very skilled since he found the dungeon and asked his name, which he told her. She then asked why he had come to the dungeon, and he also explained his situation to her. After listening to his sob story, she decided to give him her skills since she didn't need them anyway. Noor touched his forehead with hers, and her skills were transferred to him, which made her ask him to refer to her as Master. Olivia had transferred 3 skills to him: Create, Bestow, and Editor. She explained that the Create skill could create anything he could think of. The Bestow skill could give the skills he'd created to anyone, and the Editor skill could take them away. With his new skills, Noor felt like he was the freshest kid on the block. That is until Olivia rained on his parade. She told him that to use the skills he needed life points. The stronger the skill, the more LP it consumed. In order to get more LPs, he had to do something that gave him pleasure. She then revealed he'll die if his LP reaches 0. Noor currently had 550 LP, and she asked him to give his new skill a try. Before leaving the dungeon, he encountered a slime creature and used his Create skill to make a stone bullet, which alone cost him 50 LP, but he was able to destroy the slime. Back at home, he laid on his sister's lap while she fawned over him. He decided to try what Olivia told him about pleasure, and so like a creep, he requested a hug from his sister. Alice didn't seem to mind because she had some serious brother complex, so she happily hugged him and his LP increased. The next day, Noor met up with Emma. He pointed out that she looked different, and she said she'd dressed up for a reason. But the clueless noob was slow on the uptake. When she got mad, he asked for a hug, not to calm down though, but to increase his LP. He had gone to meet Olivia earlier, and had used his LP to create a new skill called Discerning Eye that allowed him to peek into information about any person or object, and this could help him pass his Hero Academy exam. He tried out the skill on Emma and was glad it worked. When Emma mentioned that her massive plots caused her backaches, he foolishly used his Create and Bestow skills to reduce them. When he mentioned that he preferred them big, Emma demanded he restore them, which was just another waste of the LP he just replaced. On the day of the Hero Academy exams, the instructor announced that they had to form groups to collect raw materials from monsters. No one wanted to form a group with Noor, because ugly and broke guy. Just when he was about to give up, Emma asked him to join her. He asked why she was there, so she told him she quit her job and wanted to try out the academy. A girl named Lenore Bluden asked to join them because of Emma. However, when Noor tried to introduce himself, she said she didn't care to know the name of unrecycled garbage. The test began and everyone hurried to go find the items. Lenore asked them to split up, after which she told Noor not to drag them down to his level. Noor told Emma to wait for him, and he went to the dungeon to find creatures to battle and collect materials from. He encountered a level 99 Dead Reaper, and since he was only a level 23 himself, he was sure he would die. He tried to use his editor's skill to delete the Dead Reaper's execution slash, but he needed at least 4,000 LP to do so. Before it could slash him, he created a skill called Heavy and used it to hold the Reaper in place. He then created a big stone bullet and shot it at the Reaper, completely destroying it and increasing his level to 33. Back at the exam center, the instructor called out the group who had passed but was yet to call Noor's team. Emma was scared they didn't pass, but Noor assured her they did, even though he didn't believe it himself. Just then, the instructor called their team and announced they had the highest score because of the Dead Reaper skull Noor had brought back. Noor was surprised because Olivia had called it garbage when he showed it to her. After passing the exams, Noor's next problem was money for enrollment. Noor asked his father for the enrollment money, but the cholesterol pappy was too broke to afford it, so he decided to get the money himself. Noor told Olivia how much he needed to enroll, and she outright told him a bottom feeder like him couldn't afford it. She suggested that he fought the rear creatures in the dungeon and sold them, but he revealed that would bring too much attention to him, and he didn't want that. She then told him that the other solution was to work at the Adventurers Guild. At the guild he met Lola, the receptionist. She explained what jobs the adventurers did and how they were ranked, stating that the jobs they did were influenced by their ranks. She told him that he could rise in ranks by completing hard quests. As part of his registration, she gave him a form to write down his skills. When Lola saw what he had written down, she told him to stop joking around and accused him of being an imposter. She argued that he was just like a bottom feeder adventurer claiming to be the successor of Olivia, who was a legend of the guild. At the mention of Olivia's name, Noor referred to her master, which further enraged Lola. On the condition that she'd raise her skirt and apologize to him if he wasn't lying, he agreed to place his hand on the discerning tom, which showed the skill of whoever touched it. When the tom revealed that he was telling the truth, the shameless creep excitedly watched an embarrassed Lola apologize with her skirt raised. As a result, he got to increase his LP from the satisfaction he got from watching her. Lola finished his registration, and when Noor told her he was in desperate need of money, she offered him a D-rank quest to catch rainbow grasshoppers instead of an E-rank one. She even flirted with him because apparently he was capable and she was into that shit. While on the quest, he used his skill to create headache immunity so he could use his great sage skill. But it was pointless because he still got the painful headaches after he used the skill. While gathering the grasshoppers, he wished Emma was around so he could get rid of the headache, and just then, as if she'd been summoned by his thoughts, Emma came running towards him. He asked how she knew where to find him, and she said she'd been to his house and his sister had told her he went to join the Adventurers Guild. She told him she was worried because she knew he'd have to use his great sage skill, and he had no way to reduce the headaches. Noor told her that he'd created a sort of immunity for the headache, and she suddenly looked like a puppy that had just been kicked. Seeing her reaction, he quickly told her that it wasn't effective, so she asked if he'd like to kiss her to get rid of them, which he gladly did. Back at the Adventurers Guild, Lola handed him the money for the grasshoppers while she was clearly hitting on him, and offered him another job. Emma, who was seated beside Noor, wasn't going to sit and watch the whore take her man, so she announced that she too would become an adventurer and go on the quest with him. Both girls entered into a fierce staring contest, with Lola claiming she was Noor's supervisor and considered him valuable, so Emma had no right to interfere with their relationship. However, Emma stated that they had been together since childhood and they were going to remain together forever. Realizing that things would eventually get out of control, Noor told each girl what they needed to hear. Before they left, Lola invited Noor for dinner, which had Emma boiling with jealousy. Emma was still grumbling about what Lola did when they were attacked by 2 level 17 goblins. They each took one on, with Noor using his discerning eye, and realized that his opponent was a male. He aimed his stone bullets at the creature's family jewels and hit him directly. Just then, Emma called out to him because the goblin she had been fighting was lying dead across the forehead of the giant rabbit they had been looking for. Noor used his discerning eye and realized it was a level 24 monster, and he could easily take it on. Before Noor could make a move, Emma stepped in front of him and told him she'd take down the rabbit because she didn't want to give Lola another reason to be all over him. Using her twin blades, she launched towards the rabbit with her incredible speed, which allowed her to easily dodge its attacks, while Noor stood in awe at how impressive she looked while fighting. Emma used her wind strike skill to push the rabbit back, but the force wasn't enough to defeat it. She slashed at the rabbit with her blades and tried to use wind strike again, but the rabbit jumped. She and Noor were able to avoid getting crushed under the rabbit, but it kept trying to hurt Emma. Just before it could claw her, Noor shot a large stone bullet at it and sent it flying, and before it could regain consciousness, they ran into the forest. Emma was sad because she believed she was weak, and that's why she couldn't take down the creature, so Noor decided to help her by upgrading her skill. He realized he needed more LP if he wanted to help her and still be alive after, so he asked her if he could buy her ear. Emma told him that as long as he could help her, she didn't mind. While he nibbled her ear, Emma tried to control her floodgates that wanted to burst open. However, the sound attracted the giant rabbit to their hiding spot. With his LP refilled, Noor tried to upgrade her skill, but before he could do it, they were attacked by the rabbit. They jumped out of the way before it could hurt them, but the angry rabbit charged at them. Noor created a stone wall that got its horn stuck in it, allowing him to use the opportunity to upgrade Emma's skill. The rabbit soon got loose and tried to impale Noor with his horn. However, Emma stopped it just in time and broke its horn. When they returned to the guild, they presented the horn to a shocked Lola, who was surprised when she heard that Emma had taken down the rabbit on her own. Emma thanked Lola and revealed that she had gained more confidence because of the quest, while Lola apologized for how she treated her before, which allowed both girls to come to a mutual understanding. Noor removed the remains of the rabbit from a pocket dimension he'd created and announced that they would roast the meat and have a feast. Later that night during the feast, Lola gave Noor the money for completing the quest and congratulated him for getting into the Hero Academy, because he could now enroll with the money she saved. Noor thanked everyone gathered, including Olivia, even though she wasn't present. He made a promise to go see her later. Noor and Emma stood outside the academy after paying their enrollment fees. They were discussing what their life would be like now that they were finally students of the academy. Just then, a blonde-haired girl and her bodyguards walked past, and Emma motioned to him to bow. When the trio had passed, Noor asked Emma who the girl was, and she told him that she was Maria Albert, the daughter of Duke Albert, a high-ranking noble. A curious Noor used the discerning eye to find out how strong she was and discovered that she was cursed. His shocked expression made Emma ask what was wrong, and he told her that Maria was cursed to die on her 16th birthday. Sometime later, Noor woke up and found Alice sleeping on top of him, so he asked her why she liked being so close and all up in his personal space. Alice said she wanted to wish him good luck on his first day and told him she'd make sure she enrolled at the academy the next year. When their father walked in, he saw the awkward position they were in and immediately stepped out screaming because he had no idea where he had gone wrong. Noor met up with a very excited Emma, who suggested they do their special greeting. They found a hidden spot amongst the trees and kissed, after which they headed to school. At the school, the students made sure to let Noor know they hated him. They didn't like the fact that they had to be in the same class as an ugly, good-for-nothing low-born, and avoided him like a pandemic. Emma, on the other hand, was accepted with open arms, and instantly became popular amongst the boys. Lenore, the girl that had been on his team during the entrance exams, told Noor not to speak to her as everyone believed she had killed the dead Reaper. While contemplating his miserable life, Maria walked into the classroom. When she saw Noor, she acknowledged his presence and told him she was honored to meet him. This made everyone freak out as they wondered why she was speaking to such a person. When she did the same to Emma, Noor asked when both of them had become friends, but Emma said she was about to ask him the same thing. A student who had avoided Noor earlier tried to talk to him after Maria spoke to him, but Noor ignored him, giving him a taste of his own medicine. Their first class was with Elma Stongs, and while balancing on a wooden sword, she told the class that she had been a mercenary for 18 years before becoming a teacher. She had an intimidating presence which had the students fearing for their safety and lives. She promised to whip them all into shape and said she was going to stalk them more than a toxic ex until they became capable. The first lesson was self-defense, and she used Noor as the guinea pig, asking him to attack her with his sword. He warned her he had plot armor, and he might hurt her, but she said a weakling like him couldn't dent her. Using discerning eye, he saw that she was indeed very strong at level 232. So he charged at her with all the strength he had, and when he thought he could land a hit, she moved so fast it looked like she had vanished. However, she had actually only moved back, and Elma called the move the back step. She told Noor to do the move she'd just done while she attacked him. Foolish Noor thought it would be easy because he had fought and defeated many creatures in the hidden dungeon. Before he could even move an inch, Elma had hit him, and he fell to the ground in pain. The other students whispered amongst themselves and called her a demon instructor. She then told Noor that if he was able to dodge her attack and do the move, she'd give him a reward. She gave a little show by adjusting the collar of her tight shirt right above her massive plots, as she obviously had no problem being their object of desire. The other male students screamed at Noor, and some even told him to drop dead so they could take his place and claim the reward for themselves. Noor tried to create a martial arts skill, but realized he'd have little LP left. Instead, he used his creative skill to improve the back step. Elma noticed he had zoned out and moved in to attack him, but he was able to dodge by doing the back step, which made everyone surprised that he had been able to do it at the first try. Noor wasted no time in asking for the reward she promised. The reward turned out to be Elma sitting on him, which was her practically riding him, while she told him that her friends had always said she had a great ass. The male students were red with jealousy, while female students thought they were fools and Emma looked like she wanted to cry. When she asked how he felt, Noor claimed she stole his breath, but in the literal sense. Although Elma assumed he was head over heels in love with her, but then he said her ass was heavy. She got angry and sat on his face, and that shut him up. She finally stood up and said break time was over. Emma rushed to Noor and helped him get up. She then shyly asked if this experience would turn him into an ass man, since hers was almost non-existent. Noor denied it but was secretly pleased since his LP had increased, and said he wouldn't mind doing it again. Elma asked the students to pair up for the next lesson. Emma and Noor immediately paired up together, but Elma told Noor that he and Emma couldn't be paired together because they were dating. The two denied it and stated that they were only friends, more like friends with benefits. She also told Maria that she couldn't pair with her assistant of Maine. Alan, the son of a duke, offered to pair with her because they were both on the same level, but Maria refused. She instead offered to pair with Noor. Emma looked jealous, and Alice, who was at her own school, somehow knew her brother was with another girl. Elma told them they would be learning passive defense and told them to take turns in flipping each other. Noor offered Maria the first move, but quickly upgraded his skill. She flipped him over but suddenly fell on him. Noor had a face full of her plots, and when Amain ran over to them, he tried to explain what had happened, but she could care less and told him not to move while she helped Maria up. Maria claimed she was feeling a bit tired, so Elma asked her to rest for the remaining part of the class, which made Noor wonder if she was like that because of her curse. Noor tried to use his editor's skill to remove the curse, but he didn't have enough LP. He then asked the Great Sage the fastest way for him to increase his LP. The sage told him to line all the girls up and tap their plots while he ran past them. Noor knew that would only end in his death, and that wouldn't still increase his LP enough. Using the skill had given him a headache, and even his headache immunity didn't do anything to ease the pain, so he asked Emma if they could do their special greeting. She pointed out that they had an audience, and it would be embarrassing, but Noor didn't listen and kissed her anyway. All the students shouted in surprise, and a scary-looking Elnett chased after Noor and ordered him to run laps around the school. After school, Noor and Emma went to the guild to ask Lola if she knew a way to remove the curse from Maria. Lola said their only option was to find a cleric who would help exorcise the evil. She told them that her best friend Luna was a cleric, but she didn't take on cases like that for personal reasons. Noor was determined to save Maria because she had been kind to him, so he decided that he would help Luna solve her problem if it would help him save Maria. Noor went to meet Elma, and when he saw her rubbing her shoulders, he offered to give her a massage. In return, she'd sit on him again, and she agreed only if he met her expectations. He quickly created a massage skill before helping her out. When Lola went to the temple to find Luna, she found her resting in her room because she was tired from attending to people all day. After they greeted each other, Lola told her about Noor and asked her to come help him. Meanwhile, to pass the time before meeting up with Lola and Luna, Noor went to visit Olivia. She was very pissed at him and mentioned that he hadn't come to see her for 2 weeks. He apologized for not coming to see her often and told her all that had happened with Maria. Olivia told him that Maria's curse most likely had something to do with someone in her family. She said there were skills that allowed one to curse people. She told him that he would need at least 10,000 LP to be able to remove the curse, but since he couldn't get that much LP in a short time, it was better for the cleric to do it. She jokingly suggested that he used Luna to fulfill his fantasies, since she was half-elf and was an exotic species. Olivia then taught him a skill to help him gain more LP since he didn't want to use Luna as a source of LP, and it was called Lucky Lecher. She said it was forbidden but very effective, and Noor quickly created it. At the town, Emma called out to Noor and told him that he was late for their meeting. As he ran towards her, a cat crossed him and he lost his balance. He fell face first into Emma's chest, and his LP went up. A sudden breeze blew and her skirt was raised, flashing him her underwear. The same thing happened to all the girls that were around them, and his LP went up a bit. Noor realized that it was the effect of the Lucky Lecher and edited the skill to only be effective at certain times, even though he was happy about the outcome. As Emma scolded him for smiling because she felt he was laughing at her, Lola and Luna watched the two from where they stood, and Luna said that Noor was just her type, which made Lola complain. Lola introduced Luna to them, and before they headed into the restaurant, Emma accessed Luna's looks and complained because she looked perfect, which made her wish she hadn't let Luna meet Noor. In the restaurant, Luna told them that she had met Maria before but had declined to lift her curse. When Noor asked why, she said it was because she couldn't lift the 16th year curse. She then asked how Maria was doing, and Noor told her that Maria's condition was getting worse every day. He realized that Luna felt responsible for not being able to heal Maria, even though it wasn't her fault. Noor used a discerning eye to peek at Luna and discovered that every time she used her curse lifting skill, her lifespan was shortened. It suddenly made sense why she couldn't help Maria. As they walked through the town, Noor wondered how deadly Maria's curse was that even a half-elf who had a long lifespan could die from removing it. Luna suddenly stopped walking and asked Noor to take her to Maria, because she had changed her mind and wanted to heal her. Noor asked Lola and Emma to excuse the both of them. When they were alone, he told Luna that he knew she would die if she removed Maria's curse. Luna said she didn't mind because she couldn't just sit back and watch her die when she could do something about it. She told him that her mother had been a cleric too, but she had died from lifting curses and healing people. She said she wanted to be just like her mother, who, despite the fact that her lifespan shortened every time, kept helping others until she died. At the same time, there was an explosion nearby, and they both noticed a cloud of dust rising from the place. On getting to the place, they discovered that a wall had collapsed and a child was trapped underneath the rubble. Lola managed to free the boy, but he was injured. She asked Luna to heal the boy, but she hesitated. She then asked Noor what was the point of being born, but he told her that he couldn't answer her question. She took out the guns that were at her side and said her purpose was to help people. She aimed at the boy and fired her healing shots, which immediately healed the boy. An excited Noor praises her for her skill, but she doesn't respond. Before he could get near her, she fell. Noor rushed to her because he thought she had been hurt. Instead, Luna was shivering and crying, saying she didn't want to die and said she was scared of curses. He wondered where all her bravery went, so he took another look and discovered that using her healing powers also activated her coordinates skill. Lola told them not to worry about her because that wasn't the first time it had happened, and she assured them she'd be fine once she woke up. When she woke up, she was so embarrassed about what happened that she begged Noor and Emma to forget everything they saw. They told her everything was fine, and immediately she stood up. She dusted her clothes and said they should continue on their way to Maria. Noor told her to take it easy and find another way to help Maria. When Luna asked why, he pointed out that her knees were shaking and reminded her that she had just said she was scared of curses. She tried to deny it, but Lola told her to stop pretending and tell them the truth. She revealed to them that she was indeed scared because if she lifted Maria's curse, she'd most likely die. Lola was shocked and angry that she had been keeping this secret from her. So Luna apologized and tried to explain her reasons, but Lola hugged her and apologized for being clueless about it. She told her to stop trying to do everything on her own and rely on her while Noor stood admiring their friendship. Later that evening, while the girls wondered what they could do to help Maria without sacrificing Luna, Noor told them that he had the perfect solution. Earlier, he had figured out that he could use his editor's skill to change the conditions of Luna's skill. So instead of using her lifespan as payment, she used her money. The only problem was that he didn't have enough LP to do that. Lola and Luna had no idea what he was talking about, so he explained that to use his skills he needed life points, and he could only get more LP from engaging in things that gave him pleasure or doing whatever he desired. He also mentioned that they would need a lot of money for Luna if they were going to achieve their goals. Lola told him of a noble who hosted an event and said they could make some money there. The event was called the Harem Pride, and it was an event where ugly, degenerate men came to watch other men showcase their women, as it was sort of the closest thing they had to being in the same place as beautiful women. They held the event weekly and used it as an excuse to hate on handsome men who could pull more than they needed. Amain brought some tea for Maria and found her in pain. The effects of the curse were getting stronger, and she had very little time left, but Amain hoped someone would be able to save her before it was too late. Meanwhile, at the arena for the Harem Pride event, Lola told Noor and the girls that the crowd was very brutal to the people, and this was confirmed when the first harem stepped into the arena. The crowd unleashed the most brutal and vicious words they could think of on them. Obviously, they did this because they could never have the balls to do it on a normal day. The team had a score of 30 out of 3,000 and were booed out of the arena. Every harem that went out suffered the same fate, except for the group before Noor's group. The crowd was actually stunned to silence by the beauty of each girl present. Lola recognized them as an adventurer team of their rival guild, Longyu. Noor admitted they were good-looking, but the girls scolded him and told him to focus because they had to beat them to win. The frustration of the crowd grew because they couldn't find anything wrong with the girls before them, and Noor became worried for his own girls. When it was their turn, Emma was frozen with fear. Noor noticed and blew on her ears because he knew she liked it. He then told her not to be afraid because he was there. That seemed to boost her confidence, and she ran into the arena. Noor mentioned that she finally had a spring in her step, and Lola claimed she had a spring in a few other places as well. Emma introduced herself to the crowd, and they were immediately taken with her cuteness and sweet attitude. Luna stepped in next, and the crowd loved every second of her introduction, and some even lamented the fact that she had a boyfriend. Lola was last, and the crowd ate up her words and made comments on becoming one of her adventurer boys. The judge announced that they had scored a total of 2,925 points, the highest score since the event first began. Luna and Emma jumped for joy and hugged Noor, thinking they had won, but Lola said it wasn't over yet. The MC told them that to win they had to satisfy everyone in the crowd by passing 3 scenarios. So the girls huddled together and came up with a plan. The first scenario was what they would do if their master was cold. Noor pretended to be cold, and then Lola and Luna each hugged Noor's hands, and Emma placed her plots on his head. The crowd didn't react until they started rubbing their bodies on him in an attempt to warm him up. This had the crowd going crazy, and even the MC admitted that if he were the one in Noor's position, he'd die from a completely different reason than cold. The second scenario was how they would take care of their sick master. Lola placed his head on her lap. Emma used her plots to support his legs while giving him a massage, and Luna, who had been handed a piece of bread as a prop, broke a piece off it, blew on it, and gave it to Noor to eat. At this point, the crowd was going crazy because they would never experience such pleasures in their sad, miserable lives. The third and final scenario was to prove that they were the best harem. Noor was a little worried because he didn't know if the girls could pull it off. The girls turned to him and gave him a kiss at the same time, and he blushed so hard. The crowd nearly burst from excitement. Some were bawling their eyes out, and others wished they were in Noor's position. The MC said he got flashbacks of his wife and daughter, and while his wife was understandable, saying it reminded him of his daughter made him sound like a sick middle-aged creep. They couldn't take more of their display and immediately declared them the winners and handed them the money, which was still like a dream because Noor could not believe they had done that and actually won. At Maria's home, the doctor told her parents he couldn't do anything else to help her. Noor and the girls soon arrived at the mansion and found Amain crying outside. Noor told her it wasn't too late, and they had come to help Maria. As Maria lay in bed, she recalled her childhood. She had always known she'd die on her 16th birthday, as it was no secret that the curse had been cast by a sorcerer that her ancestor had defeated. The curse had skipped many generations before it activated in her. She had wanted to live out the remainder of her days doing something she wanted, and that was why she had enrolled in the academy. Amain took Noor and the girls to see Maria. He introduced himself to her parents and said he planned to help his daughter. When Luna stepped in, they recognized her and asked if she had come to help their daughter. Luna apologized for not agreeing to help them before and explained the reason she had first refused them. Noor assured them that everything was fine and they didn't have to worry about Luna dying because he had changed the price she had to pay from her lifespan to money. Amain told Noor that Maria always thought he was special since she had seen him during their entrance exams, as she was very good at reading people. Maria woke up, and when she saw Noor, she asked why he was there. He told her that they had come to save her. She asked why he'd bothered to do that for her, and he told her that he wanted to repay her for welcoming him, when all the other students treated him poorly. As he spoke, he felt lightheaded, and Noor told her that it was because he had used too much of his LP to edit Luna's skill. She ended up kissing him even though she had no idea if there was something he needed, and Noor thanked her, saying he felt better. Luna interrupted their moment and said she had to lift the curse. She began the process, but the curse was resisting. She struggled a bit and was finally able to lift the curse in the end. With the curse gone, Maria felt better and thanked them for saving her life. She told Noor that she would spend the rest of her life repaying her debt to him. However, Lola and Emma didn't really like that idea very much. As they left the mansion, Noor was glad he could help Maria out, while he noticed Emma and Lola whispering to each other. They were discussing the fact that Maria had completely fallen for him, and they weren't happy about it. Even Luna admitted she had fallen for him too. Noor visited Olivia, who told him that reeked of many women. He admitted that he had indeed been with a lot of women recently, and they had kissed a lot. She then asked for her own kiss, but Noor actually looked embarrassed and shy. He told her that since he's always the one to be kissed, he didn't know how to do it. So he gave her a kiss on the forehead instead and told him to keep practicing with his other girls and come back to give her a proper kiss on the lips. To thank them for saving Maria's life, her family gave Noor and the girls 100 million each. Noor wondered what he would use all the money to do, and Emma told him that he could use it to open a shop that sells rare materials for monsters. She even offered to help him out, but Lola told her not to bother because all he needed was her skills and nothing more. The girls eventually got into an argument fighting for who would be a better person to help him, and Luna joined them. Not wanting to be caught between them, Noor said goodbye and let them alone. When he got home, his father couldn't believe how much money he had been given and offered to take care of it by going gambling, which made it clear why they were dead broke. Noor wasn't about to trust his good-for-nothing father with his money, so instead he tasked him with finding a suitable location for the store and filling all the paperwork. Alice volunteered to keep an eye on him so that he would do everything right. Later on, Noor decided to explore the dungeon to see if he could find some rare materials for his shop. He stopped to see Olivia, who pretended to be dead until he tickled her. She then complained that he was not coming to see her often, even though he had just seen her recently. Noor told her his plans to explore the dungeon, and she gave him some advice on some new skills that would help him navigate through the dungeon easily. The first skill was a dungeon elevator that would allow him to travel between each floor as long as he had been there before, and the second was a light blinding skill. When Noor tried it out, he nearly blinded himself in the process. He soon made it to the 5th floor, but only found dead monsters, which made him wonder if they had fought themselves to death. While he kept exploring, he came face to face with a black lion with a tulip growing out of his head. Noor tried to observe its status but couldn't see anything, so he used the light blinding skill on it, and then tried to escape using the dungeon elevator. Before he could escape, the lion spoke to him, which was so surprising, he had to stop. The lion told him that he needed his help to find a friend of his on the 6th floor. On their way to the 6th floor, the lion told him that his name was Tigerson, which was ironic considering the fact that he was a lion. He said the name had been given to him by his friend long ago, and it was this friend that he needed Noor to find. Tigerson told Noor that his elf friend Vashel had asked him to wait on the 5th floor while he checked out the 6th, and that was 350 years ago, and he was still waiting for him. Noor walked down to the 6th floor, but it was too dark to see anything, so he created a night vision skill. While looking around, he encountered a horde of zombies that could detach themselves. He ran from them and hid in a room. Using the second door in the room, he found himself in a new corridor. Then he came across another zombie, but this one had an array of skills and looked different too. He realized that it was Vashel, so he used his skill to erase the zombie skill and returned him to his old self. Noor told him that Tigerson had been waiting for him all this time and he was ashamed. He blamed himself for his friend wasting his life because he waited for him. When he finally saw Tigerson, he apologized to him, but Tigerson told him not to feel bad. He said he was going to return to his hometown to be with his love again. Sadly, his people didn't welcome other spices, so Tiggerson couldn't go with him. Outside the dungeon, Tiggerson bid farewell to his old friend, and they promised to see each other again. Noor asked him what he planned to do now, and he said he had no idea. He told Noor that he had forgotten something on the 5th floor and went back in. A curious Noor followed him and found him crying. He felt bad about leaving him alone, so he asked Tiggerson to be his friend and invited him to live with his family. Later that night, Noor introduced him to his family, and both his mother and sister took a liking to him. His father was a little afraid, but he'd always been a coward, so it didn't matter. His father asked why Tiggerson had a tulip growing out of his head, and Noor said that he was sensitive about it. Emma and Noor met up and went to school together. At school, they met Maria and Emaine, who thanked him again for saving her life. Noor stood awkwardly as Maria hugged him, and then Emaine revealed she was happy that Maria got better right before their exams started. Before Noor could ask what she meant, Elna walked into the classroom. She told them not to expect the exams to be as easy as the entrance exam. She explained that the exam would last for 2 weeks and told them that they had to gather all the materials that were listed on a chart she showed to them. If they failed to reach the required points, they had to take summer classes. While they had lunch, Emma suggested they gather the materials together, but Noor told her that it wouldn't be easy to find materials. He asked what she wanted to find first, and she said it was the dragon, even though that was probably the hardest thing to find. Noor said they could ask Lola for help, and even though Emma didn't want to, she agreed to his plan. Noor and Emma went to the guild to see Lola. As they stood outside talking, they heard a commotion coming from inside. When they went in, they saw Luna trying to stop Lola, who was seconds away from bitch slapping someone. It turned out that Sarah, another receptionist, had been stealing her adventurers. Sarah told her that it was because she lacked charm, that's why they left her, but Lola was sure she had done something to make them leave. Sarah even pointed at the receptionist's quota hanging on the wall and said Lola was just mad because she was incapable of doing a good job. It so happened that the receptionist with the most adventurers had more benefits than the others, and Sarah happened to be at the top of the list. Sarah told Lola that she had no proof that she actually seduced her adventurers, so she told Lola that if she could beat her in the receptionist ranking for the month, she'd never steal her adventurers again. Lola agreed, but Sarah told her that if she lost, she'd take Noor away. She then walked up to Noor, pushed up against him, and seductively told him she was very excited to become his receptionist. Luna and Emma looked like they were about to finish what Lola had started and slap the bitch. Curiosity made Noor take a look at her skills and discovered that she had some very specific skills, and this gave him a severe nosebleed. When Sarah was alone, she laughed like a psycho and said she had already disciplined her adventurers, so there's no way her little piggies would tell anyone the truth. Noor looked a little too pleased when he thought of Sarah being his receptionist. He told Lola that he and Emma could be of help to her since they had to find rare materials for their exams. So he asked her to give them any high-grade quests and told her to win no matter what. Luna, who had just joined the guild, offered to go with them so they could get the quests done in time. They went on quests and slowly gathered the materials they needed. Luna told them that she'd heard from a friend where they could find some earth dragons, and they worked out a plan on how to capture one. Tiggerson gave them a ride on his back to the field where they would find the dragons. Noor asked the great sage where the nearest dragon was and ended up with a headache. When Emma kissed him, Luna was shocked, so they quickly explained that it was because of his headaches, but she didn't really buy their crap. After they dug a pit and set up a trap for the dragon to fall into, Noor found the dragon and looked at its skills. He tried to edit it a bit, but that would require a lot of LP, so he decided to stick to the original plan. Noor threw a rock at the sleeping dragon and acted as bait to lure it to the trap. The dragon fell into the pit, and they wasted no time in attacking it with spears, first blinding it, then finally killing it. Noor and Emma turned their materials in at the academy, and Maria praised them for being able to kill the dragon. They gave the rest of the materials from their quests to the guild, and it brought Lola's ranking up. Unfortunately, when they added up Sarah's materials, she took the lead once again. While she bragged about how good she was at her job, the adventurers working with her walked in looking like zombies. They were clearly overworked, but they were happy to do anything for their mistress, who always promised them a reward for working hard. Noor went back to the dungeon to find more materials so he could help Lola. Olivia suggested that he go to the 7th floor because he would most likely get rare materials there. She gave him advice on some new skills that included fire, water, and lightning. Then she told him to create another skill called magic fusion, which allows him to merge his previous skills and create something stronger. Equipped with his new skills, Noor went to the 6th floor where he combined Holy Flame and Stone Bullet, using it to destroy the zombies there. When he finally got to the 7th floor, he was surprised to see that it was a forest, but he didn't notice the person sitting on a branch watching him. While exploring the forest, he came across a pack of silver wolves. He avoided them as they were stronger than he was and went to find other creatures instead. The person who had been watching him soon approached him, so he turned around and saw a little girl who looked so much like Emma when she was a child. At first, he thought it was a trap set by the dungeon, but after he looked at her skills, he discovered she was a dryad. The girl told him that she'd observed he was powerful and had a request for him. She told him that she would die if he didn't help her, and even promised to do anything he asked for in return. Noor agreed to listen to her request, and while they sat down, she told him that it was actually a great tree spirit. She had a forest sensitivity skill that allowed her roots to spread through the forest, letting her know all that goes on in the forest. He asked why she looked like a child, and she said it was because she felt it was something he would like. She revealed that there was a monster draining her mana because her real body couldn't move from one place to another since she was a tree. She told Noor that if he helped her defeat the monster and save her, she would show him the way to the 8th floor and show him where the treasures were hidden on the 7th floor. Noor figured that he could give the treasures to Lola and increase her chances of winning the competition, so he asked her to tell him more about the monster he had to destroy. She then introduced herself as Dory. Dory took him to her tree where she showed him the golden bee that was draining her mana. Noor told her that the bee was by far stronger than him, and if he tried to attack it, he'd die. Just then, the bee drained more mana from Dory's tree, and she fell in pain. Noor felt angry at the fact that he was too weak to help her. He felt worse when she tried to smile through the pain and offered to show him the way to the 8th floor. He told her he couldn't let her die because she reminded him so much of his friend, and abandoning her would be as if he was abandoning his friend. Dory noticed he had a cut on his lips, so she kissed him, causing his LP to shoot up since he enjoyed it like a freaking p***. He then decided to go ask Olivia for help. Olivia told him that the best thing to do was to walk away. She told him it was too dangerous for him and she didn't want him to die. However, Noor told her that he couldn't walk away, and Olivia teased him about falling for the tree spirit. He told her that it was because she reminded him of his friend, so Olivia came up with a plan to help Noor defeat the bee. Olivia's brilliant plan involved using the monsters in the forest. Noor found the nest of the bee, then told Dory to hide before throwing a stone at one of the wolves. They immediately chased after him, and Noor tried to lead them to the bee's nest. As he was running, he fell, and before they could attack, he used the light blinding skill and was able to escape. He came across the bee, which was attacking Dory's tree once again. Enraged, he attacked it with his sword, but the bee blocked the attack with its stinger. He tried to hit it with a lightning strike, but it easily dodged them. To make things worse, the wolves came back and tried to attack him too. Realizing that he couldn't fight them all at the same time, he edited the target skill and placed it on the bee. This made the wolves attack the bee, and while they fought each other, Noor ran to Dory and told her everything was fine. The bee managed to kill all the wolves, and Noor took advantage of its weakened state to attack it. He used magic fusion to mix water and lightning, which took down the bee. With everything over, Dory apologized for not being able to help him, and Noor told her that she helped increase his LP. As promised, Dory showed Noor where the treasures were hidden. She handed him the contents of the treasure chests. The first one was a pearl which enhanced one's wind abilities, and the second was an artifact. He decided to give the pearl to Emma and give the artifact to Lola. She then showed him the way to the 8th floor, but she was sad he was leaving. Noor promised to visit her again and left. Back at the guild, the receptionist ranking event began. The adventurers of each receptionist were each given a coin pouch. They had to stack each coin until the pouch was empty. Sarah's adventurer and Noor were the only ones left, but in the end, Noor won, which made Lola remind Sarah that she wasn't allowed to steal other people's adventurers anymore. Sarah was annoyed that her winning streak had broken, but Noor tried to console her, and she used the opportunity to hand him a map to her house that Lola noticed, causing her to chase after her. Noor gave Emma the pearl he had gotten from the dungeon, and she thanked him before swallowing it. It gave her 2 new skills, one that allowed her to move as fast as the wind, and another called Wind Slash. Even though she had just received a gift from Noor, Emma looked sad. Noor asked if she was okay, and she told him everything was fine. She asked if he could accompany her to a party for the nobles that weekend, but Noor hesitated for obvious reasons, and Emma thought he didn't want to go. She then guilt-tripped him by saying he was fine with seeing her dance with other boys, and this made him immediately agree to go to the party with her. Before she left, Emma told him that he probably wouldn't notice if someone took her away from him. She didn't give Noor a chance to question her before she ran off. Later that day, when Noor got home, his sister told him that they weren't able to find a shop for their rare materials. His father said no one wanted to rent out a space to him because they weren't proper nobles. Noor told his father not to worry since he never believed he could find a shop in the first place. He then asked his father if he had any appropriate clothes for a party. His father gave him a wine-stained jacket, which he claimed was his best suit, so Noor decided to buy a brand new one instead. At the party, Noor met Emma's parents. Her father teased him about his childhood, and an embarrassed Noor begged him to forget about it. He noticed Emma wasn't there and asked where she was, so her mother told him that she was still getting ready. Emma's father asked if Emma told him anything about the night, and Noor thought he was referring to the dance. Before he could say anything else, Emma interrupted him. The host came in and announced that he had received a letter from the phantom thief Phantom, who wished to steal a precious jewel known as Mermaid's Tears. Noor noticed that Emma looked disturbed by the mention of the Phantom and asked if the Phantom had threatened her, and she quickly said no. The host told everyone not to worry because he had employed the services of adventurers from the Llama Guild to guard the jewel. Noor was shocked by how strong the female adventurer was when he took a look at her skills. Noor and Emma had to wait their turn to dance, since the dance happened according to ranks. A young noble who introduced himself as Mike approached the both of them, and he asked Emma to reconsider his request to court her. However, Emma told him she wasn't going to change her mind, which made him ask Noor who he was when he noticed him standing beside her. When he discovered that Noor was a baronet, he challenged him to a dance battle. The winner would be determined by how much the audience clapped, and the reward was a date with Emma. Emma immediately said she wanted no part in it, but Noor agreed to the challenge. After Emma's dance with Mike, the audience applauded them, and this made Noor nervous. He quickly created a dance skill before making his way to the center of the room with Emma for their dance. Emma told him to relax and just enjoy the dance. As they danced, everyone was amazed by how well Noor danced, which made Mike angry. They finished the dance, and the audience erupted in cheers and applause, as it was very obvious who had won the challenge. As Noor tried to kiss Emma, the lights went out, and a masked woman, who claimed to be the phantom thief, announced that she'd come for the mermaid's tears in Emma. It was then that Noor realized that Emma had also received a letter. The woman took advantage of the confusion she had created to grab Emma, and she then used her skill to knock her out. Noor tried to take her back, but the woman kicked him and managed to escape with a sleeping Emma. The lights came back on, and the host ran to the place he had hidden the jewel to check if it was still there. He was struck from behind by a masked man who picked up the jewel, and together with the masked woman, they escaped from the party. While adventurers split up and went after them, Noor asked to join the female adventurer so he could get Emma back, but she refused, saying he was just an ordinary adventurer. Noor stood his ground, and she finally allowed him on the condition that he would not get in her way. As they chased after the masked woman Lola, the female adventurer shot at her. She easily dodged it and faced them. Noor took a look at her skills and told Layla to be careful because she had a summoning skill. Layla was impressed that he could use the discerning eye skill. The lady put Emma down and summoned a firebird. She gave them a chance to back off, but they refused, so she shot at them, and the bird attacked them. However, they easily dodged, but the bird soon cornered Noor. Luckily, Layla used her demon fist to stop the fireball the bird shot at him. The woman mocked them and said they couldn't save Emma as she attacked Noor again. He tried to delete her summoning ability, but didn't have enough LP. He even attacked her with lightning, but missed. She told him that as long as she was out of range, he could not hit her. She pointed out that Layla was struggling against the firebird, so Noor used a gravity manipulation skill to hold the bird in place, and Layla punched it using her demon fist. Noor shot water at it to help her, but the masked woman blocked it. However, what she didn't know was that he had used magic fusion to mix lightning with the water, and since her weakness was lightning, she took some damage. Noor rushed to Emma, who was still unconscious, and Layla told him that it was probably due to magic. She then told Noor that they could be friends even though they were from rival guilds. Layla's leader approached them and told them he had come to help since he'd already captured the other phantom and handed him over to the Earl. Layla told him they didn't need any help as they too had captured their own phantom. He looked shocked, and Noor noticed he had an earring on which he didn't have on at the beginning of the night. Nor tried to read his skills but couldn't see anything, and before he could speak up, the man punched him. He then used gravity manipulation to bring a confused Lola to her knees. While they struggled to get back up, she asked Nor what was happening. Nor shot a stone at the man's earring, and when it fell off, it was revealed that he was actually the other phantom in disguise. He told them he was going to make Emma his wife because he had fallen in love with her the moment he saw her. Nor managed to stand up and demanded he let her go, but the man mocked him and called him weak, saying he could not do anything to save Emma. But with the power of friendship, Nor fought against the hold of gravity. The man tried to end him, but Emma taped him and used a wind strike to push him, causing him to lose his hold on Nor and Lola. Nor immediately punched him and completely knocked him out. He rushed to Emma to make sure she was okay, but she asked if he hated her because another man had touched her. Instead of answering, he kissed her. When they returned to the Earl's house, he thanked Nor for his help and promised to repay him. The Earl kept his word and, as a reward, gave Nor a shop to sell his rare materials, as well as even reducing the rent. His useless father said he'd remodel and design the place, but Alice and their mother said they would do it instead. Their mother told her husband that he could clean the shop so he could feel useful. Emma said she'd help out too and hug Nor, and this had Alice staring daggers at the both of them. At the academy, Elna told the students that she had two announcements to make. The first was that they had a new transfer student who turned out to be Lila. Nor recognized her and Elna asked her to sit beside him. The second announcement was that they were going to training camp, which was basically a vacation for the students. The day of the training camp came on their way there. Elna warned them to remain alert because there were monsters around. Emma was excited about the hot springs and kept jumping about, saying it was going to do wonders for their skin. Nor told her it wasn't a good idea to enter the hot springs and pointed to the other male students whose eyes were glazed over, imagining the girls in the hot springs. However, the poor girls said they trusted Nor to stop the other boys from peeping into the baths. As they progressed on their journey, another student stopped Nor before he could fall into a pit that had been hidden. Nor thanked him, but it was obvious he did it to impress the girls who didn't even take note of what happened. When a pixie approached them claiming that she saw the bandits that had dug the pit, the girls ran over to the pixie and gushed over her. Nor was suspicious and decided to read her, which made him discover she had a skill called monster puppetry, which didn't sit well with him. He'd also noticed that Elna wasn't with them again. The pixie also said she knew a shortcut to the hot springs and offered to show them the way, which they foolishly agreed to. She took them through a cave, and Nor complained that it was too dark, and their defense formation was now scattered. Jorth, another student, told him not to worry, and that if things got dangerous, they could always turn back. Nor pulled out his sword, and the pixie asked him to put it away because she found it scary. Nor noticed holes in walls and said that it was possible things were hiding in them. However, the pixie explained that there was nothing there, and if there was, they would have been attacked already. Nor then accused her of using her monster puppetry skill to control some monsters to attack them, so she decided to drop the good pixie act right before she ordered the lizardmen she was controlling to attack them. Fueled by their desire to peek at the girls in the bath, the boys charged at the lizardmen while the girls also fought them off because nothing was going to stop them from getting to the hot spring. The pixie tried to run away, but Nor stopped her by increasing her weight so she fell. Outside the cave, they finally met up with Elna, who tried to tell them the importance of being observant after their encounter with the pixie, but the students were too excited about the hot springs to care about what she was saying. At their lodge, the boys offered Nor a mask to wear when they go to peep on the girls in the bath, but he refused to accept it because the girls were counting on him to stop them. They called him a traitor and chased after him, while the girls got ready to get into the baths. With the bathhouse in sight, Nor tried to figure out a way to stop the boys, and just then, Anna stepped in front of them and created an earth wall that stopped them in their tracks. When she saw Nor, she was surprised he was cultured, but he immediately explained that he was trying to stop the other boys. The wall wasn't enough to stop them as they got back up and kept running towards the bathhouse, so Nor fired stone bullets at them, while Elna also used her earth bullets. Jorth stood up claiming there was no way they could stop them as he threw a punch at Elna, who used her own punch to stop him. The force of their fists colliding pushed her back and she fell into Nor's arms. He accidentally grabbed her plots and she said she'd let him off because he had saved her, but he quickly let go and apologized. She asked to Jorth what he had done because he was unusually strong. He laughed and admitted that he had taken different magical potions and items to make him more muscular. The idiot had even used all his money to buy them, which made Elma call him a stupid noob for doing all that just to peek at plotless girls. He told them that it was the dream of every young man to peek at naked girls, and that it was their purpose. He tried to convince Noor that it was what he wanted to do, but Noor stood his ground and said it was wrong, which made Chorth attack him using his magic potion power boost. He had to edit his skill, making him useless once again, allowing him to beat him. However, Chorth laughed and told them they had lost, and that was when Noor noticed another boy running towards the bathhouse. He immediately went after him, but the boy was so fast he couldn't catch him. Noor had to bestow heaviness on him to slow him down, even though it left him with only 200 LP, but that still didn't stop him. He jumped through the bushes and into the bathhouse, while Noor followed him, and the both fell into the hot tub. Noor came out of the water with his eyes closed and shouted out to girls, telling them that a peeping Tom had gotten in. He opened his eyes and discovered that the place was empty, as the girls stood to the side still wearing their clothes. Emma told him that Elma had told them to wait a little before getting in the bath, which relieved him so much that he fainted in the bath after using so much LP. When Noor woke up, he had a towel tied over his eyes. He heard Elma telling him not to take the towel off, as she told him not to worry since she had locked the boys up in their rooms. To reward him for helping the girls, they allowed him to bathe with them. The girls fawned over him, and to help increase his LP, they rubbed up on him with their plots, which made his LP surpass 10,000 that night. The time had finally come for Noor to open up his rare materials store, and the girls came over to help him with the finishing touches. They asked what he had decided to name the store, and he said they had all come up with different names, but in the end, they settled with the name Tiggerson had picked, Stardian Rarities. Alice and his parents walked in and told them they had handed out all the flyers, so all that was left was for the store to open. Noor watched as people filled the store and reflected on how far he had come after losing his job at the library and meeting Olivia, which made him wonder if there was a way to properly thank her for everything. Noor went to the dungeon to see Olivia, and she asked why he was so serious, so he told her he came to express his determination. He promised to find a way to set her free and end her suffering. Olivia told him that she was thankful, but he asked him not to push himself. He was still determined to set her free, so he asked the great sage if there was a way to set her free without killing her. The sage told him that he could probably find the answers he needed on the 15th floor. So he made his way there. When he got to the 14th floor, he saw a sign that asked him to pick the path labeled 1 if he was going alone, and the path labeled 2 if he was going with someone. He picked number 1, and the first trial was to cross a narrow path that had spikes beneath it. The only condition was to not use any skill. Being the coward that he was, he turned back immediately. He met up with Emma and told her everything about the hidden dungeon, Olivia, and his plan to set her free. Emma told him that he could rely on her and that she would go with him to the hidden dungeon. Noor took her with him to the dungeon, and on getting to the 14th floor, they took the path marked 2 and came upon a door. They entered the room, and the door locked behind them, after which they were approached by goblins that demanded they feed them. Noor brought out food that he had stored away in the pocket dimension he had created and gave it to them. Immediately they rushed to it and began eating it greedily. Emma found their manner of eating disgusting. As they ate, they demanded that Emma entertain them by oinking, so she reluctantly oinked like a pig, and they told her to stop since she wasn't funny. They'd also demanded that Noor give them more food, which he did happily, and as they ate, they suddenly started vomiting and fell down, holding their stomach. As it turns out, Noor had poisoned the food before giving it to them. He explained to Emma that he used the skill he had gotten from his master to do it. They headed down to the 15th floor, where they came across someone bound in chains that looked exactly like Olivia. Noor tried speaking to her, but she didn't respond, so he used his discerning eye and discovered that she was Olivia's clone, and the chains holding her were the real death chains. A sign on the wall said they should find a way to free her without killing her, and a path would appear. Emma uses a wind strike to cut the chains, and the clone falls. When she opened her eyes, stood up and asked if they were the ones who freed her. Noor told her to stop pretending to be his master, saying he knew she was the real death chain. He drew his sword, and fake Olivia pretended to be shocked that he had figured out her secret. Fake Olivia said she wanted to test how powerful she was, so Emma and Noor drew their weapons. Noor shot a large stone bullet at her, but she kicked it away. She then created a fire dragon strike and attacked them. Although they dodged it in time, she faced Emma and told her that she couldn't do anything with her low-grade skill before kicking her. Noor rushed to her side, and fake Olivia told them to get a room cause they were pissing her off. Before she could use the fire dragon on them again, Noor used the dungeon elevator to transport them out of there. The elevator had taken them to Olivia's floor, and she made a joke about Noor cheating on her in her presence. Seeing Olivia was a shock to Emma, but Noor explained that she was the real one. Noor told Olivia about their encounter with the Death Chains, who was her imposter. Emma pointed out that if the fake Olivia was an exact copy of Olivia, that meant that they shared the same weakness. Instead of answering them, Olivia asked Emma what her bra size was, but Noor asked her to focus and tell them what her weakness was. Olivia was reluctant to answer, but said she had encountered difficulties when she fought in their town. But then she told Noor to forget about helping her. He asked why she was so kind to him, and why she helped him so much even though he had done nothing for her. However, she said nothing. Despite her attitude, he told her that he would make sure he defeated fake Olivia and set her free. When they got back to town, Noor told Emma that he would go to the library to find out what he could about Olivia. At the shop, he met Lola and Luna, who gave him an LP boost before he went to the library. He was able to find some useful information at the library, and used it to create a skill he believed could take down fake Olivia. As he headed home, he met the fake Olivia, so Noor activated the new skill and attacked her, but she easily dodged his attack. She used her sword to slash his chest, which also electrocuted him. Using his discerning eyes, he realized the sword had lightning attributes. Fake Olivia then walked towards him and raised her sword to kill him. 200 years in the past, a young man who looked a lot like Noor approached Olivia and asked her to become his master. She refused, saying she didn't know how to teach, and left him standing alone in the bar. The young man didn't give up and followed her everywhere, even to the bathhouse, but Olivia kept rejecting him. One day, after he told her that he made a promise to a friend to become the greatest adventurer in the world, she told him that if he could scratch her, she'd take him as her student. He tried attacking her with his sword, but Olivia jumped and landed on the edge of the sword. She got off and told him to just give up on becoming an adventurer, but instead of giving up like she advised, he used every opportunity he had to ask her questions, and even though she seemed reluctant, she'd answer his questions. She eventually got used to him until one day the bartender told her that the young man had died. He had saved a little girl from a monster, but died in the process, which made her wonder if he would have survived if she had agreed to teach him. Back in the present, before fake Olivia could strike Noor, Emma attacked her. She had come to help him together with Lola, Luna, and Layla. Noor thanked them but told them that she was too powerful. However, the girls told him that he had always helped them, so they were ready to fight with him. They attacked the fake with their abilities, but she was able to dodge them easily, before she hit Emma with her sword and electrocuted her. Realizing the sword was a big problem, Noor used his editor's skill to delete its lightning skill, after which Layla used her demon fist and broke the sword in half only for the fake to release the fire dragon on her. This knocked her out, and when he asked Luna to heal her, she fell down saying she felt feverish. That was when he noticed that the other girls were in the same situation, and he soon realized fake Olivia had done something that made them feel sick. Once again, it was just Noor and the fake Olivia. Noor figured he'd be able to fight her since she had no weapons. She released the fire dragon again. Noor tried to dodge, but realized that he couldn't move all of a sudden. He managed to move just in time and wondered if she had messed with his skill. He shot a stone bullet at her, but she sent it back and it hit him instead. This helped him confirm that she was actually messing with his skills. Noor wasn't sure if he could beat her because she was very powerful, but looking at his friends and remembering that Olivia had helped him so much, he resolved to defeat her at all cost. He decided to sacrifice all his skills except for the ones Olivia gave him. This allowed him to go toe-to-toe with her, and when he tried to cut her with his sword, he discovered that her skin was hard. Fake Olivia got really mad and started throwing punches at him left and right without giving him the chance to block and defend himself. She then kicked him, causing him to fly across the bridge and hit the wall. She unleashed the fire dragon again and tried to burn him to death, but Noor thought of the girls and decided that he wasn't going to die yet. So he picked up his sword, and instead of dodging the attack, he ran straight into the dragon. She gave a satisfied smile, thinking she'd finally killed him, but Noor slashed through the flames like he was the fire Ashura. With his sword still flaming, he struck her between the eyes and pushed down on her head, forcing her to turn back to chains before eventually turning to dust. Her last words were that she'd curse him, and Noor said she could curse him all she wanted because he had friends who'd lifted. Noor fell to his knees after he defeated her, and the girls, who were finally able to stand, went to him. He said that he'd been able to defeat her because of them and admitted that he'd used up too much LP. They told him not to worry and gave him an LP boost, and even though he was tired, He was definitely on cloud 9 at that moment. He went to see Olivia, who was finally free, and found her standing outside watching the sun rise. When he saw her, he started crying and ran into her outstretched arms. He asked why she didn't tell him she was in pain, but she said that she didn't want him to worry. She thanked him for freeing her, and he thanked her for everything she'd done for him. Meanwhile, everything in the store was going well, and Noor's idiot of a father wondered how much money he'd make if decided to bet on Ronaldo to score, but his wife pulled on his ear to bring him back to his senses. Noor and Lola were training together when Lola saw them and came running to boost his LP. Luna saw them and did the same thing, and Emma was the last to arrive, and she wasted no time in grabbing Noor and kissing him. A crazed-looking Alice came with a sword claiming she was ready to fight to the death for her brother, which made everyone scared. When Noor and Olivia went to the dungeon, she asked if he had gotten the skills he had sacrificed back, but Noor said he'd take his time exploring the dungeon and get the skills back while doing so. Olivia told him that if he was able to make it to the 100th floor, he'd become as strong as she was, and our confident hero told her to wait for him to get there.